Muscle Car Corner here at the Muscle Car and Corvette Nationals. I'm here with Myron Survey, excuse me, and he's the owner of the Mule, the original 1968 Hemi Cuda. And he's got this car here. You can see we got some other cars, Dick Landy car, and we've got a Butch Leo car here. These are all very important cars to the Mopar world, and I'm so happy that Myron's got this car here. So Myron, good to see you. Saw you at U.S. Nationals. We had a great time there. A lot of filming, a lot of publicity to this car.
That was a great weekend.
Oh my gosh, I had the best time. I was so glad I was a part of that whole deal.
Good.
So tell me about the car. What's your plans? How long have you had it?
Well, I've had it for 23 years.
Wow.
Bought it from a collector out in Phoenix, Pat Magruder. He had a big muscle car collection out there.
Gotcha.
That he made the decision to liquidate. And I got a chance to go out there and look at all his cars.
Unreal.
And his curator, Steve Banker, who I befriended over the years.
Sure.
And he knew I loved Barracudas. And so when I went out there, this car was sitting off in a corner. And he said, I should have that one. And I said, oh, no, I can't afford that. But the bottom line is I was able to arrange financing and made him an offer, which quite a bit below what they asked for. But Steve called me back 2 weeks later and said, when do you want to pick up your car? And so
that had to have been an exciting phone call.
Oh, it was.
You were just like ecstatic that you were getting this car.
I didn't think it was going to happen. But to Pat Magruder's, if you want to call it his personality, and he just wanted all these cars to go back to their original beginning.
Gotcha.
It seems how this car started in Hamtramck, Michigan. It was obvious that he wanted to go back to Michigan.
Gotcha.
And having lived it, and I live in Plymouth, made it even more special.
Oh, wow. Having this Plymouth and living in Plymouth, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I bought it about 23 years ago, and it's been kept in a nice, comfortable, climate-controlled garage.
Nice.
Had it to the Chrysler Museum when I first got it. Had it at the Ypsilanti Heritage Museum.
Okay.
And then took it to the Hemi reunion down in Quaker State about 15 years ago.
Oh, really?
And fortunately was featured there. Had a great time. And basically, the car wasn't running for about 6 or 7 years because it needed a starter motor. And I got hooked up with Hemi Eddie.
Yep.
And he brought the car back to his shop, got it all fixed up, took care of a few other details, so it's now in prime, pristine condition.
Yeah.
And it's been a whirlwind since then. So we had it out to the Red Barn in Kalamazoo.
Okay.
And took it to the Mopar Nationals down in Columbus.
Yes.
Then we went to the Nationals drag race in
I was there with you there.
Yeah, in Indianapolis. Had a great time, met some really fabulous people who all just raved about the car.
George Baptiste was with us. That was super
He was
super
parked
neat.
right next to us. Just a super guy. We just had a great time. So,
He's one of my heroes at 92 years old, still driving a Hemi Barracuda.
Well, we had to talk him into sitting in my car.
Yeah.
Because he says my car, which when he saw it 20-some years ago, or 40 years ago, he said that inspired him to get into drag racing. And so he was an original owner of a Barracuda next door.
Oh, I know it.
And then we got him to talk. We talked him into getting into my car to sit in it. And there's a video of him, and he is just ecstatic. I mean,
he's a cool dude, man. I'll tell you. For his age to still be.
If I can be like him at 93, I'll be happy.
Well, yesterday I was talking to Arnie Beswick. I've known him since '68, and I said, "What's your secret of you look good. You're still cranking along at 94 years old.
Yeah.
I said, it's the cars that keep you young. He says, yep, you hit it right on the head.
That's right.
I'm always wanting to be with my cars. He says it's the best part of my life is the cars and the career he's had in drag racing.
Now, fortunately, I grew up with cars. My dad was a big drag racer back in the 60s and early 70s.
Nice.
He was a collector before that. And so I've always been around
you
cars.
You came by it honestly.
Pardon?
You came by it honestly.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's the way it was for me and my dad, you know, and building cars together and all the things we did together, all the races. It's memories that are etched in your mind, and it's some of the best times of your life. You don't realize
that's all I look back on. All the good times with my dad, going to the car shows.
Yep.
He even let me drive my first car because he had a garage and he'd work on cars, and he had a cousin that had a 55 Thunderbird. Nice. He brought it home one weekend. I was only 14 years old, and he let me drive that car around the block in the neighborhood. So that's the first car I ever drove. So needless to say, I was hooked.
Yeah. Well, you know, Mopar or no car, you know, I've been into the Mopars for so long, and I just love them, and it's a big part of my life. It has been, and my channel reflects that. There's a lot of Mopar content on my YouTube channel, and to talk with people like you and, you know, talk about the cars and what it's done for your life. You know, it enhances your life having these cars.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't know why everybody isn't into muscle cars, you know, because it's fun. You know, it's expensive. And you got to know what you're doing to have them and maintain them, or have somebody like Hemi Eddie, you know, doing what you need to do on it. I'm not wrenching on any cars anymore. I gave it up years ago. You know, I did it for so long. I'd had enough. I rolled my toolbox in the garage, and it's sat there for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
You know? So, but for you to bring this car out, and what's the future on this car?
What's the what?
What's the future on this car? What
well,
you're going to do?
I'm looking to pass it on someday.
One day it's going to go?
You know, I've had it for 23 years, and I told my wife this was my retirement plan.
Heck yeah.
So, you know.
Well, out in Mopar land, you know, Myron is possibly going to sell this thing, and he wants it to go to the right home. This is like family to him, this car is, so it's whoever gets it's going to have to be the right person.
They got to take care of it for the next 20 years.
Somebody like you know, and Tim Wellborn told me that, and I never thought about it because I have a hard time getting rid of cars, and it's so hard. It's like a piece of you, you know. I've had some of my cars 40 years, and like my Pantera, and I'm like, when that thing goes, it's going to be a sad day. But you know what Tim told me? He says, we're just caretakers of these cars.
Yeah.
And he says, if you think it that way, you don't get so mentally attached to them, and it's going to go to the next caretaker that's going to take care of this car for you. And you hope you get the right person, you know.
That's my goal. I'm mentally there now.
Yeah.
And
well, you know, I'd like to see this car getting in the right museum. That'd be amazing. Like I said, I'll talk to Don Garlitz. I doubt he would buy it, but, you know, it's worth a try to have this piece. It really should be in a museum.
That's ideally where I'd like to see it go, because this car needs to be seen.
It does.
And it's just incredible how many people have raved about this car. You know, we were in Indy. I had so many Barracuda drivers come up to me and thank me for having this car and bringing it there.
Sure.
Because they all told me, without your car, we wouldn't be here.
Well, it started out a drag racing revolution. These cars did. That's the way I call it. I didn't get to ride in the car, but, you know, I was around it enough and heard it. And that photo shoot we did, Indy, is super cool. If you guys haven't seen that, look back on my videos, the U.S. Nationals. And we did a photo shoot under the Sox and Martin sign, which was super cool. To take a look at that.
That was neat. To be in the winner's circle with my car.
Man.
That was the crowning achievement.
It was so cool. So, you know what? You know, I want to thank you for the interview one.
Okay.
And I hope that this goes to the right person, you know, but in all respect, you know, I'm sure the money's what's going to take it, you know, when it comes down to it.
Right.
You know, so. Well, I really enjoyed being with you at the Nationals, and I'm sure we'll rub elbows again somewhere.
Yeah.
And I want to come out and do that Woodward cruise, and maybe meet you out there, and you
Yeah,
can show me
that
the
is
ropes
that
with
is
that.
the best car event ever.
Yeah,
I mean, 30,000 cars, 2 million people watching. It's unbelievable.
I bet. Well, my man, Mopar brother, the Mopar brother, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll look to see you soon. Take care.